अब हामी लाग्न चाहन्छौँ हाम्रो अर्को प्रेजेन्टेसन तर्फ. We are very, very delighted to specially welcome Owen Chen Ong. उहाँलाई हामी स्वागत गर्न चाहन्छौँ. Very delighted to welcome the CEO of Neurogine, who is here, traveled all the way from Malaysia, especially for this particular event. They'll be presenting on structured data, the new ground truth in banking. यो विषयमा उहाँको प्रेजेन्टेसन रहने जानकारी म यहाँहरूलाई गराउन चाहन्छु र यहाँहरूले ध्यानपूर्वक यो प्रेजेन्टेसनमा सहभागिता जनाइदिनुहुन्छ भन्ने अपेक्षा पनि लिएको छु.
The digital economy does not wait. And somewhere in Malaysia, more than a decade ago, one engineer refused to wait either. He saw SMEs the very backbone of this nation's economy, representing 97% of every business that keeps this country moving being handed a lesser version of progress. Fragmented financial systems, rigid banking criteria, cybersecurity tools priced far beyond their reach. He asked a question that most overlooked: how do we make financial services truly inclusive, truly secure, and truly accessible for every merchant at every level? Rather than wait for someone else to answer it, he built the answer himself. His name is Owen Chee, the founder and chief executive officer of Neurogine SDN, BHD. When he established Neurogine in 2014, he anchored it on one non-negotiable test: does it genuinely help a real merchant? That gave rise to Neurogine 2Tap, transforming any Android smartphone into a world-class payment terminal backed by dual PCI MPOC certification. No hardware, no compromise. Built for the small shop owners, the night market trader, and the neighborhood store. And Neurogine Token FIDO2 certified, passwordless authentication that eliminates phishing entirely. At a time when cyber threats cost SMEs over RM 1.2 billion in a single year, KPMG and HSBC named Neurogine Asia Pacific Emerging Giant. The World Digital Transformation Leadership Award followed in 2025, and in February 2026, the ASEAN Innovation Excellence Award was presented by the Sarawak Premier himself, but his vision reaches further. He believes SMEs must not simply be given better tools, they must be given a seat at the table, included in policy, in banking frameworks. And today, that vision travels beyond borders. As Nepal's SME sector continues to grow with tremendous energy and potential, the questions it faces are not so different. How do we equip our merchants with technology they can trust? How do we turn digital adoption from a challenge into a competitive advantage? He has lived those answers, and he is here to share them. That is the conversation this discourse was built for. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the 4th National Banking Discourse 2026, Mr. Owen Chen.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you to the organizers, Raju's and Banking News, for inviting me today to speak. I'm very delightful. This is my first time in Nepal, and also in Kathmandu. When we think about Nepal, we think about Mount Everest, right? The highest mountains in the world. When banks think about Everest, we see some things different. We see a challenge. Today, banking is getting more complex. More customer, more regulations, more risk, more expectations. The question is not how high we can climb. The question is whether we have the right knowledge to climb the summit. Today, I want to share structured data is coming the new ground truth in banking. Imagine We are climbing Mount Everest. There are two teams. Both teams are equally experienced. Both teams are equally determined. Both teams have the same destination. One team carries extra weight. The other team carries the right knowledge, right map, and which team will receive summit first. Today, banking is the same. The challenge is no longer collecting information, just like how just now Springbase mentioned. The challenge is navigating information. Let me ask you, the audience, the questions. What is the most expensive asset in banks? Quite right? So a lot of people, most of them will say is money, capital, and depository. My answers is a little bit different. My answers is the most expensive assets in the banks is the knowledge. Okay? Every loan approval depends on knowledge. Every risk assessment depends on knowledge. Every investigation depends on knowledge. Knowledge transforms information into a decisions. $80 to 90% enterprise informations are scattered, or we call it unstructured. Knowledge exists, but it's trapped. Emails, PDF, compliance documents, operations reports, they are all scattered. Difficult to search, difficult to access. Just like my peers, colleague sound, Springbase says that challenge is not about lack of data. The challenge is turning data into decisions. Is structured data matters? Structured data creates competitive advantages. Structured data turns information into actions. Knowledge becomes searchable. Decisions become faster. Competitive advantage comes from using knowledge effectively. With these structures, conditions, I came up with this principle. We call it PURE, P-U-R-E. The data must be purposeful, stand for P. U stand for unsurprisingly. R stand for respectful. And E must be explainable. Let's imagine what happens. The knowledge is no longer trapped. When data becomes structures, information becomes accessible. Decision becomes faster. Employees spend less time searching, spend more time serving the customer. Compliance will gain better visibility. Risk team will gain better insightful. Data itself is little value. Value is only created when data becomes a decision. Structured data is not an IT project. structured data is business advantages. So, structured data and AI give you measurable results. Now, there are a few big giant companies like Deloitte, McKinsey's, Essentials, and PwC's, all saying the same things. Using structured data and AIs gives multiple benefits and huge result. And with this kind of company proven to us, they give better, faster decisions, happier customer, and stronger growth. Now, I'll just talk about AI. Let me dive in a little bit convergent AIs. Now, this came from Jason Huang, AI. A lot of people say about AI. But let me share you the foundation AI, how it works. Okay? When Jason Huang talk about these equations, it's too high level to many. Later part, I will share to you how we can drive down how it works. Now, AI, of course, you need energy. Energy, they give you real-time electricity. And then you have chips. A GPU accelerates and converts electricity to computation. And then you have infrastructure, data centers, cooling network, networkings, land. And then you have models. Models, you have many models, many LLM models. There's some Spring-based show about models on translations, on text interpreters command, on the chat box. But there are more models than that. There are models for protein models, 3D proteins models. Okay? How we discover new drugs, how we discover new enzyme. Then you have chemical model. Chemicals, molecules, chemical reactions. What is underpinning is fertilizer, plastic, medicines, semiconductor, batteries. That's chemical model. Then you have physical model. You have climate models. You have aerodynamics. You have robotics. An application is a layer the industry interact with the user using AI. And this is Jason Huang equations. Now, Jason Huang is a billionaire. He doesn't care tumor models. He has many talents in US. Now, what I see is missing in Jason Huang equations is resources. You need to train the talent. You need to train talent how to put the knowledge into decisions. And of course, Jason Huang missing one part because the billionaire, he doesn't care money. But in order to build AI with measurable, you need investments. You need a long-term visions to build this AI model. I just mentioned this, I skipped this. So, and I'm rating now how AI works. AI is actually not based on the fixed rules. If then else, if you do X, then it come out Y, right? It's not a fixed model. AI is actually adaptive learning. AI collects the data, analyze the pattern, okay, align the context, and then provide feedback, and then he will refine and adapt as a new information data collections. And AI must be reached 3 points minimum. AI must be trustworthiness. It must be honest. It must be transparent. Okay? And when we do AI, we always ask, where this data source come from? People say, it come from notebook, from my email, come from my documents. But a lot of times, they cannot answer how this model make decisions. How this model make decisions. The third point is, what is recommend to these actions? And the last point, we always ask ourselves, what risk exists. It's like taking this medicine, what is the side effect? So AI cannot just dump a data in the systems and you think it's correct. It thinks it's true. So normally when we do using structured data in AI, we always ask these 4 questions. Every bank in this room has already invested millions creating knowledge. The challenge is not about creating knowledge. The challenge is accessing the knowledge. Let me show you a practical infrastructures. Now, you will have a scattered unstructured data, your log files, your transactions, your customer informations, your operation notes, your compliance documents, your risk management documents. It's all scattered. So the first step is not about AI. So the first step is actually you have to extract it, you have to structure it, you have to classify it, and then you have to secure it. Now, once you have that, once the knowledge is trusted and structured, it has become part of the searchable knowledge foundation. So it is easy for your bankers to ask questions and answer you with the trustless answers. This is about unlocking the value of the knowledge banks already possess. Like Springbase says, we are not replacing core banking. We are not replacing your existing systems. We are not replacing banker or you and me. We are not. In fact, in Neurogine, we have AI, we have hired more people to pre-train the data, not reduce sales manpower. We hire more people. So Neurogine here is not putting the entire database outside your banking environment. The red color box here is where we will transform all your knowledge into your own database. We are not here to become your vendor lock-in. Okay? One day you say, I don't use Neurogine AI no more. You still have your own servers, your own knowledge base, trusted knowledge base in your data centers. Because we believe data is crucial. So I'm going to run this video. This is where Neurogine have a chance to become a game changer. Neurogine only have 50 employees, 50 engineers. I'm also an engineer. And in order to compete to be very populous country like Vietnam, Indonesia, China, India, so we have to come up with something, AI that assists us that is very practical, very to strengthen our people, a system that works. Using this tool, we call it AI coding assistance. So normally, when I have a new project, our new developers always bugging the senior developers. If the senior developers go on leave, half the time they will delay the coding. Because they don't know how the architecture works, they don't know how the governance compliance works, they don't know what API modules to use, they must be sure whether this direction to develop it or another direction to develop it. So now we use this AI in Neurogine to be very competitive. You can play this video? So this question here, we're trying to build a merchant management platform. So this new developer, he doesn't need to wait for the senior developer that comes in. He just say how, and find a guidance how to develop a merchant management platform. You can either use the voice interpreter command or you can type it in. My developer prefer type it in. Okay? So we type it in. This is the video recorded, yeah? So this type it in, he will show all this module, all the directions, all the architecture guidelines for the developers to follow. You can see those pink color is where we have trained in Neurogine developers all the blueprints, developments, tools, and directions to be used. And then next thing, once you know the directions, the next question they will ask, how am I configure? How am I going to implement? So this is very much for the CIO, CTO, and developers to seize it. This is how Neurogines become very competitive in our products. I think that's how Neurogine have 50 engineers, but using this tool, we feel like we have 100 engineers, double our workforce. This is how we are game changer in our region. Now, a little bit on Neurogine. Neurogine is a 12-year-old company and growing. We are one of the Visa partner. We are one of the 70 global partners with Visa to do a PCI import, like a soft post, how we digitize using payments. And we also one of the 50 in MasterCard global partner to do PCI standard using MasterCard technologies. We are PCI standard. Okay, PCI, we have two standard that meet, is more on the latest one, and we have a lot of queries and projects on this PCI for doing soft post. Now, I'm supposed to talk about tokenization for this event, but Raju asked me, want to talk about AI and structured data. So we have one strong product called tokenization MFA, that we have a physical tokenization on card, and also we have tokenization on the virtual card. Tokenization is crucial because the one we base on is FIDO2. Tokenization has been around for more than 12 years. But for FIDO2 standards, it's a new standard that all big giants like Microsoft, like Meta, and Google's adopting, including Visa and Master. So with this kind of FIDO2 standards, you are getting yourself ready for quantum breakthrough. Quantum breakthrough is actually another millennium security bug that's going to come in between 3 years. So with our FIDO2 tokenization standard, you are ready to stop the quantum breakthrough. Everest is not climbed alone. Success requires people, knowledge, tools. Digital transformations follows the same principle. Agree? So, before I conclude, I would like to express my sincere appreciations to the organizers of the 4th National Banking Discourse 2026 for bringing together banking leaders, regulators, innovators, partners to discuss the future of banking. As we discussed today, the future of banking is not determined by how much data we collect. The future of banking is determined by how effective we transform data into decisions. If there is one message, I will hope you remember this session, and it is the most valuable asset is knowledge. The challenge is not about lack of data. The challenge is turning data into decisions. And AI is not replacing bankers. AI is helping bankers make better decisions. Just like every climber needs the right tools, right path to reach the summit. Every bank needs trusted knowledge to navigate the future. Thank you once again. We look forward to meeting you. Thank you, and have a wonderful conference. Thank you.
Thank you very much to Mr. Owen, the CEO of Neurogine. They also have a booth outside if you would like to know more about it. But Mr. Owen, we'd like to request you to please step forward. And Raju sir, I'd like to request you to please come forward to present this token of appreciation to Mr. Owen first. We're very, very delighted that Mr. Owen could make it all the way from Malaysia to specially be a part of the 4th National Banking Discourse. एकपटक उहाँको लागि जोरदार ताली बजाइदिनका लागि म यहाँहरू सम्पूर्णलाई हार्दिक अनुरोध गर्न चाहन्छु उहाँलाई धेरै धेरै धन्यवाद हामी दर्शाउँ तालीले. And our distinguished guest participants can also know more about Neurogine through the booth that we have outside as well.